aspirants, welcome to TRB. So today's episode we are going to discuss about how to read Hindi newspaper effectively and more importantly in less duration of time. So tip number 1, stick to your syllabus, because it's more important for us to learn only stuff that is there in your syllabus, because the most important part of reading Hindi newspaper is sticking to the syllabus, because as per the civil service examinations our syllabus is very vast. So more importantly, just sticking to the syllabus and studying only which is relevant to your topic is more important for us. Either you could get a printout copy from it and then stick it on your wall so that you could just see it daily, or you could just by heart your syllabus. More importantly, the aim over here is that know everything word by word what is there in your syllabus, so that you would only learn or only read from what is there important. Tip number 2, that is read which is more relevant to the national importance. That is, totally omit all your regional news or your state-wise news or your district, whatever, all the local news, just completely avoid it. You could just watch TV news or local TV news, that is more than enough, but do not read or do not waste your time in Hindi newspaper reading the same news again and then just going about the same opinions about it, because it's total waste of time. That is, they're not going to ask what happened in your locality or what happened in your neighborhood. They might ask something which is relevant in the national importance. So that is, I'm someone from Kerala, so there might be a chance that in the civil service examination, probably current affairs topic, they might ask questions regarding Sister Abhaya case, and since that is such a long or an important case that happened in the Indian history, they might ask. So it's more easier if I would just look into the news of local importance but also in the national importance as well. So tip number 3, just stick to one newspaper, because that is more than enough and that will suffice for the whole purposes. Our important aim over here is to cover all the current affairs related to your civil service examinations in less number of time. That is, we already have lots of static portions and the other dynamic portions as well to cover for your civil service examinations. So do yourself a favor, just stick to one newspaper and do not read more than one. That will be enough. That is, I've often heard all these aspirants saying lots of proud and gluttonous is that they have read 2 newspapers and sometimes 3 newspapers, and what they'll do is that they'll be analyzing all these newspapers for opinions and all. You don't need that, because you're just wasting your time, because more importantly you have to make your own opinion based on these current affairs, and that is what important over here. Tip number 4 is that you have to make notes for your current affairs. I've had aspirants saying that they don't make notes, and I've had aspirants who say that they make notes. But the problem over here is that people who don't make notes, they can't retain all these informations beyond 2-3 days. And the students or the aspirants who say that they make notes, but the problem is that they spend the whole day making the notes, coloring it, making more prettier. You don't need that. You're not in 7th standard school. You're just making notes so that for the reference purposes. So the bottom line over here is that you can't completely ignore the note making part for saving the time, but also you have to make notes, but do not stick the whole day, do not spend the whole day for making the notes. You need notes so that for the reference purposes, you need notes so that it can retain the information. You need notes because it has to be the most efficient way to collect the notes. You can't make notes, for example, saying that 27/3/2021 and listing out all the news that you collected on that specific day itself. No, that's a point of nothing, because okay, you're just making the notes for the sake of collecting it, but that cannot be used for the further reference. How you have to make notes is like this. You have to make separate topics or separate titles for each category. For example, you could have one topic on judicial matters, you could have one topic on something related to bilateral issues, you could have one topic related to NRCs and CAAs. That is, the point over here is that make separate topics or separate files and folders for each categories, so that when you collect the news and 3-4 months later on, when you reflect and see that everything is so precisely organized, so you will have a continuous news of it. For example, I'm going for my interview and I am a journalist. I was a journalist, and we all know that they're going to ask questions which is completely related to me, and I was a journalist before, so there is going to be questions asked about related to journalism and press and media. So I have to be ready beforehand itself. That is, for example, if I have collected news related to Arnab Goswami, that is the suicide abetment case, if I would have followed the news through and within the week's time I have completely collected the news in one single file or one single folder, and then when I go for the interviews I could just refer the one single file. I know that I have all the resources related to that case in one single space and one single place, so that's easier for me and it's more less hectic for me as well when I'm collecting the news as well. So this is just an example of my current affairs file folder. So what I've done over here is that, so this is my file folder for the current affairs, and trust me, after having this file folder, after having this completely organized form of this current affairs collection, it's so much easier, and I've made my life so much easier. That is, I've made everything regarding the alphabetical order. For example, here is A and B. Here we have M and N. So all the news related to M and N will be here. That is new appointment, we know, medical. So when I make a topic and when I make the titles, this is National Park and National Museums and Sanctuaries, this is National Population Register, new norms and National Green Tribunals, because the main reason why we're collecting all these news and current affairs is so that we can substantiate our answer writing, the answers while we're writing for the main examinations with these current affairs fodder facts. That is, these are the statistics, but they are actually the fodder facts which will help us writing our answers, that is the main answers. So the next tip is that do not read the whole story of one single news item. That is, mostly all these news items will be written in inverted pyramid format. That is, all the most relevant topic or the relevant facts and figures will be given out in the first sentences or the first paragraph itself. And mostly that you can find all these relevant informations in the headline, sub-headline and the first paragraph itself. So that is enough. Do not waste your time reading the other paragraph as well. Just read the headline, sub-headline and the first paragraph, then you have the whole important facts about that particular story. So the last and the most important fact that I would like to add on is that always keep the editorials to the last. First, read all the national important news, that is your front page and the news page and also the business page as well. And only after writing all the notes on related to all these news, then read the editorials. Mostly editorials are just for the reading part. That is, you wouldn't have to make much notes on the editorial part. It's basically that you read so that you can widen your perspective, you widen your opinions about it. So keep always that at the last so that you can effectively manage your time. And you already have the most relevant information at hand. So when you have time or when you don't have much time with you, you can skip the editorial part and maybe keep it for the next day. I can cut down my time. That is, I hardly take 1 hour or sometimes more than 1 hour. We have to read effectively, we have to read efficiently, and more importantly, we have to keep time apart for your static informations as well. Do not spend your whole day reading the newspapers because we are going to do that every day, single day. Because we have to read newspaper more effectively and efficiently. The reason why we have to leave out the rest of the day for the other relevant facts as well. That is for your static and your dynamic notes. And you can't spend your whole day reading the newspaper and making notes, because this is something which we are supposed to doing every day, every other day till the day of your examinations. So for that reason, cut short your time limit for collecting the current affairs without jeopardizing your relevant facts and important facts as well. So that's all the tips for today. So if you have any doubts or any queries regarding the same, you could just leave that in the comment section or you could just WhatsApp me. So all the best for all the aspirants. So all the best. Bye now.